Well, are we in a bear market? Are we in a correction? Dan O'Weiler is here to help.
Or a bull market.
Or a bull market. Dan O'Weiler is here from Sterling Financial to kind of, well, if anything, tell us the difference between those different kinds of markets.
Well, you know, we had that little blip 2 or 3 weeks ago,
Yeah.
and the beginning of February, where the market actually went down 10% in a day, or not in a day, but over a period of a week or so, and people got real nervous about that, and so I thought it'd be good just to kind of define what a correction is versus a bear market.
Yeah, I think that would be good. So there are specific definitions of them.
Well,
loose definitions.
Loose definition. I guess if you went to Wall Street, a bear market they consider when the market drops 20% and it lasts longer than 60 days, so 2 months.
Okay, and what? By the way, I just got a couple things here. This is I put up so we could both see. I got this morning.
Sure.
This is over 3 months. I have one over the last 12 months.
So in February, that's where we had a drop significantly, and I think it went down 10% during that point. And we were about 26,000 on the Dow Jones, and it dropped down to about 24.
And it's come back. You can see it's gone back up.
It's gone back up. We're about 25,000 right now, and so it's come back and recovered a little bit. So they would consider that a correction.
Okay.
All right. So it didn't last longer than 60 days, and it only went down about 10 points.
Right.
So,
and this is 12 months, so look at here.
Yeah, exactly. So the average bull market runs about every, 6 years, 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
So we're overdue for a bear market, technically. But we thought that 2 years ago as well.
Right.
Everybody thought that the market was going to collapse 2 years ago. Well, ever since the election, it's gone up tremendously. Last year was a good indicator of what happened.
What can cause this? Both bear and correction. Is it stuff that
basically
it's around the world,
overvalued,
interest rates?
Yeah, well, overvalued.
Okay.
We saw that in the .com bubble. And they were overvaluing these stocks with companies that were just starting. If you had a .com name, they valued this company, overvalued it, and when they hadn't even made any money or profits.
Yeah.
And so that needed to weed out the companies that really weren't worth anything. Now you have Amazon and some of the Google and some of the other .coms that are part of our society today, and so they were viable companies that actually made money. Some of the others that weren't, they were just overvalued. So when you get into a situation where the economy starts to heat up and they want to put money somewhere, we start overvaluing companies, and their stock prices get overvalued for what the company is actually worth.
Okay,
there needs to be a correction or a bull market. A bear market.
Are we still kind of seeing that? Because I noticed, I think it was today, I heard about Snapchat was an example of, that kind of happening.
Yeah, well, I was reading about that as well. Unfortunately, a big celebrity social media type person made a comment, and it just collapsed the company because somebody made a comment.
You bring up a very good point with a lot of these social media things. If some big top celebrity said, I'm not going to use Facebook anymore.
I don't like them anymore.
Yeah. One person can cause it,
And it's unfortunate because the company was worth as much yesterday as it is today, but as a result of a comment on social media, all of a sudden people don't value it the same.
Okay.
The same thing happened in 2008. Ford Motor Company or United Airlines or whatever, in a matter of a year had dropped, a lot of money in value, but the company was worth the same yesterday as it was today. 9/11 was a good example when airline stocks, had problems. It wasn't because their company was worth anything less. It was just a perception of, using airlines to go into, and people wouldn't be flying as much, so to speak. So a lot of it has to do with perception.
Yeah.
So we're overdue for a correction or even a bear market that's going to be happening. The average drop in a bear market has been about 35%.
Wow.
So the largest drop was in 1929 in the Great Depression. It was about 62%.
Yeah.
So the average bear market drops about 35% and lasts for about 10 months.
Okay.
Goes for about 10 months. A correction, on the other hand, you can have a correction and it could go down 20%, but only last you for 30 days, and so it's not considered a bear market.
Right. So right now...
Right now, it was just a correction in February.
That's what it seems to be.
And we've come back up. So, you know, the bear market that's kind of been overdue for a long time, you know, it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
But at some point, if interest rates start coming back up, that's going to have a big impacts, because perception-wise, rising interest rates doesn't help business.
Right. And as you've mentioned several times before, that rising interest rates affects our economy, because it's what the country, the states, and all that, they're borrowing money themselves.
Well, on the other hand, those people that are savers want to see higher interest rates.
Yeah.
They're cheering to say, hey, what happened to the 6 and 7% CDs we used to get? You know, well, I don't think that the country can afford a 6 or 7% interest rate just because of the cost of our national debt.
Right.
Well, you know, we have $20 trillion of national debt, and I saw one time, I think they did a calculation that if interest rates go up 0.25%, it costs $240 billion of additional interest.
That's amazing.
So I don't think the federal government can afford to have that go up that much.
Yeah, and I recall even back then too, that people have to realize CDs were high, but so were mortgage rates. So were mortgage
rates. So were gasoline prices. And everything else. I don't know if people remember the gas lines that we used to have to.
I do remember that.
Have to wait in, and they almost allocated what day you could go and get gas.
Yeah, they did for a while. I remember that.
So during the President Carter years, we had hyperinflation for us as a country.
Yeah.
You know, where you could get 15% CD rates, but I'm not sure the inflation rate was worth it at that time.
Right.
You know, you'd have 10 or 11% inflation. Now you have some countries like Venezuela that the inflation is just astronomical.
Yeah.
You know, it's like 1,300%.
Wow.
You know,
amazing.
But the correction needs to take place to try to weed out some of the overvalued parts of the stock market, but nobody likes to see that, you know.
You know, it's like cleaning out your garage. Some of those things are hard to part with. You don't want to see it. You don't want to do it. But
we become emotionally tied. Everybody loves the years like we had last year, where the market went up 20%, and their 401ks or their investments showed that.
Yeah.
But, you know, now's the time probably to be locking those gains in.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Very good. And Dan and his group can help you with that. And if you're interested, you can give him a call or go on the website and check things out. He's always there to consult with you. You can go down and just see what he has to offer and what he has to...
We just offer a complimentary consultation, and we just kind of get to know you a little bit. And whether or not we can help you, we don't know until we sit down and talk.
All right, very good.
Good to see you.
Say hi to everyone for me.
Take care.
You take care.
All right.
And we'll be right back.